Hi everyone, I'm Bree Luna and welcome to How to Teach Structured Literacy in 3rd grade and beyond. I am so excited that you are here and that in the next 60 minutes we are going to dive into all things structured literacy for big kids. Welcome. If you have any comments or questions throughout the webinar, feel free to add them to the chat and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Let's get started. You are in the right place if you have students who are struggling with reading and spelling, but you don't know exactly what to do to help them. You want to know more about what the science of reading is and how it applies to 3rd through 12th grade. You are excited to learn how to teach, assess, and remediate intermediate literacy. You are not in the right place if you are a K through 2nd grade teacher or teaching very emergent readers. We have a different course available for you, but this one really focuses on 3rd through 12th grade readers. You are not in the right place if you are being forced or mandated to change and you have a closed mindset and you are unwilling or unable at this time to learn and grow. You are not in the right place if you believe it's too late for struggling intermediate learners. If you are not willing to learn for them and to remediate with them and to grow with them, then this is not the course for you. In this 60-minute masterclass, I promise that you will walk away with 3 things. First, a picture of what science of reading is and what it looks like in 3rd through 12th grade. Then, an understanding of what you need to know in order to help or remediate your struggling readers. And hope and the promise that it is never too late for these kids and our nation's current literacy plight. My tips for you to get the most out of this class is for you to take notes on the download that you received earlier, for you to visualize yourself in this and visualize your current students, and for you to keep an open mind. We will dive into how science of reading applies to older students. There's so much out there right now about how it applies to primary grades and emergent reading, but what does it look like in 3rd through 12th grade? You'll find out why it is crucial that we have trained teachers in intermediate and secondary grades, what you need to know, and how to implement structured literacy. We'll also dive into motivation and how motivation plays such a key role in these later grades. Not only will you get that content and the resources of this course, you will also have the opportunity to work with us and have some live coaching. So you will have the opportunity to have a wingman who will be available to help you every step of the way as you start this journey. Imagine this. Imagine if you went to the doctor with a chronic illness, and instead of diagnosing the root cause, that doctor just treated the symptoms. Maybe the doctor gave you painkillers for a headache or cream for a rash, but the illness itself never goes away. How frustrated would you be? Because while the symptoms are being managed, the real problem is not being discovered or is being ignored. Now, let's think about that same scenario in teaching a struggling reader. If we as teachers only accommodate, we provide extra time, we simplify assignments, but we never dig into the why of our struggling readers, we never find the root cause, we're doing the exact same thing as that incompetent doctor. We're addressing the symptoms but not the cause. By understanding the science of reading and how reading acquisition works in the brain, we can have tools to understand the root cause of reading disabilities. It's like the X-ray or the blood test that helps us see the whole picture. Without it, we're just guessing. With knowledge and training, we can target interventions and truly help students thrive, not just survive day to day. Our students deserve more than accommodations. They deserve solutions, and it starts with us understanding the research and the science of reading. Learning about how the 5 components of reading all played into skill reading was the number one way that I began to understand what was breaking down for some of my students. But it wasn't just knowing the 5 components or learning about Scarborough's reading rope. It was really learning how to assess my students so I knew what the breakdown was. And then learning to use the tools and research-based strategies for how to remediate those gaps. I am not just a teacher. I am a mom of 3. And let me tell you, my kids could not have had more different experience in school. Each one of them has walked their own unique path with their own challenges and triumphs. As a mom, I've seen firsthand how the right strategies can make all the difference for a child, and how the wrong approach can absolutely be devastating. As a teacher, I've spent years learning how to bridge that gap. In this course, I'm going to weave my 3 children's stories and what I've learned from them, because this isn't just about theory. It's about real kids, real struggles, real families, real victories. My hope is that their experiences and mine will inspire you and remind you why we do this work, to make sure that every single child gets what they need to find success and thrive. For over 20 years, I've dedicated my career to education. I hold a master's degree in literacy, and I've had the privilege of transforming and transitioning an entire school from balanced literacy to structured literacy approach. Along the way, I've trained over 500 teachers, earned accreditation through the Colorado School of Mines, and now serve as a board member for the International Dyslexia Association, Rocky Mountain Branch. These experiences have shaped me as an educator and an advocate. But here's the truth. None of those are the reasons why I'm here today. Let's talk about what really drives this work. I'm here today because 18 years ago, I dropped off my sweet, bubbly, vivacious daughter at school as a 5-year-old. She could hardly wait to go to kindergarten. It didn't take long before her teacher shared with me that Kenzie was struggling to learn to read. By the end of the year, she was clearly behind. Fast forward to 2nd grade, and her teacher confessed that Kenzie was the lowest reader in her class. I was incredibly worried. We talked to the school resource teacher, and she did a quick screening. She came back and said that Kenzie wasn't low enough for an IEP or to qualify for special education services. By 4th grade, Kenzie began to dread school. She was anxious and said she was constantly embarrassed. She was pulled out in the hall to read with parent volunteers and had to stay in for recess to work on math facts. We were given reading fluency passages to practice at home, and we spent countless hours in tears over homework. Fast forward to 11th grade. Kenzie was on antidepressants and had missed an entire month of school because her mental health was in crisis. It would be easy at this point of the story to blame the teachers. But the truth is, Kenzie had some of the most incredibly passionate, empathetic, amazing teachers I've ever known. Fast forward to when Kenzie was in 12th grade. I went back to get my master's in literacy. I was sitting in a class one day when dyslexia was mentioned. We didn't go into much detail, but it was enough to spark my interest, and I began to research. What I found was astonishing. My daughter had almost every single sign and symptom. Not one teacher had mentioned it. I was a teacher and never thought to explore this as a root cause of her struggles. The tragedy is that Kenzie was almost done with her K through 12th grade education. What a difference it would have made if we had identified this when she was 5. How many children are sitting in classrooms today struggling and no one knows why? We must figure this out so our children and our students don't feel as defeated and worried that something is wrong with them. Have you ever had students, or possibly even your own children, who have struggled? Type in the chat and tell me a quick version of your story. What do you wish that you would have known, and how did our lack of understanding cause that student even more pain and suffering? When I finally began knowing how to implement structured literacy, I very quickly saw astounding student growth. My administrators started noticing that things were different. And I started to see children transform before my eyes. This has become my life work. I now feel confident and I know how to help students who are struggling. I also created a step-by-step plan to help other intermediate and secondary teachers get the knowledge that will allow them to have this same confidence. And instead of getting to the finish line with a $15,000 master's degree and literally thousands of hours of watching random webinars and piecing it all together, I have a roadmap for you. We are currently making 3 really big mistakes when it comes to intermediate and secondary literacy. Let's take a look at what those are. One of the biggest problems is that intermediate teachers don't think foundational skills are important after 2nd grade. When I was a 5th grade teacher, I'm not even sure I really understood what foundational skills even were. I would send my students down the hall to intervention and just hope that they would come back fixed and we could continue our novel study. The problem is that 66% of our 4th graders are not proficient readers. So it definitely does pertain to us. We have to know what to do. We often didn't learn any of this in college, so we keep doing more and more accommodations and comprehension scaffolds, but that isn't solving the root cause. That is, again, putting a Band-Aid or ibuprofen by treating symptoms, but not really treating the illness. If we don't change something, scores will continue to be tragic and kids will continue to suffer. The second big mistake that we're making is thinking that it's either this or that we either can do our grade level content and standards or we can do remediation and foundational skills, but we can't fit it all in. So let's dive in and talk about this big problem. We know that if we just continue to expose students to grade level content and standards without understanding why they're struggling, most students won't catch up and we just pass them along year after year. However, it's equally important that students aren't taken out of the room where they miss grade level content and discussions. We have to offer remediation while still giving them access to the content that their peers are getting. One obstacle that I definitely faced as a 5th grade teacher is just my lack of knowledge. I didn't really know what the foundational skills were. I never really actually heard of phonological awareness. I knew phonics was a thing about letters and sounds and spellings, but I didn't actually know how to remediate. But if we don't take this on, if we don't learn this and we don't identify why kids are struggling, they will just continue to suffer. They'll feel anxious and defeated year after year. But when teachers do have the knowledge and they do understand how to help students, scores go up and, more importantly, kids' mental health goes up. Meet Galinda Everhart. She is a principal at an elementary school in Hobbs, New Mexico, and she trained her entire staff, K through 5th grade teachers and all the support staff, in structured literacy, and everyone is aligned and on the same page. Can you even imagine an entire school that's systematic and every single person is knowledgeable and confident? The third big mistake that we're making is feeling that it's too late for some kids. I was at a district professional development training a couple of years ago, and I sat next to another 5th grade teacher from a different school. She leaned over and said to me, "I don't even teach spelling anymore because no matter what I do, some kids just can't learn it. If they aren't good spellers, I just have them use spell check." What a terrible thing to say, that it's too late for a 9 or 10-year-old, and to say to them or to give them the message that they could never get better at something that's challenging for them. We can't just keep pulling people out of the water. We must go upstream and find out why they're falling in. If we have the majority of our students not reading and writing at grade level, then we need to figure out what we're doing wrong. Our current literacy scores show that our lack of knowledge and our training isn't producing the results we want. But what if teachers did understand foundational skills and could create systems and plans to remediate while progressing through the content? If you change nothing, nothing will change. Remediating and tutoring can't solve the problem. We need to have knowledgeable teachers in Tier 1 teaching reading according to science from the very beginning. And again, armed with this power, struggling kids can get the help they actually need and begin succeeding and gaining confidence. Ann Alfonso, principal at Bethke Elementary, said, "As a principal of a school where all K through 3rd, all interventionist, and most 4th and 5th grade teachers have been trained in Reading Rev, I can confidently say that this is the cornerstone of our success. We have seen the greatest growth we've ever seen in our school pre or post-pandemic after implementing this with fidelity the last 3 years. Our teachers are knowledgeable on the why of what they're teaching using proven multisensory methods that elicit high levels of engagement and deep understanding of how to decode, read, and write. Every one of my teachers has reported that this is hands down been the best PD they've ever had and wish they learned this in college. The materials support the content learned in class perfectly. This is what is missing in schools today. Confident, knowledgeable teachers with materials that support the systematic, sequential, and explicit teaching. Now that's a recipe for success." Because I want teachers across the world to know what structured literacy is and be able to implement it in a way that will help all students achieve success, I've created a 5-phase framework. Let's jump in. The first phase is understanding the why. By learning a little bit about current research and how reading works in the brain, you can understand why our previous instructional methods have not worked and why structured literacy does. This course is grounded in science. We aren't just making this up or following the latest educational trend. You will learn all about the quadrant model and understand the 4 main reading profiles. We will share with you how to use this understanding and knowledge to transform a school in just a couple of years. The second phase of this journey is all about learning what to teach and how to teach it. We'll dive into Scarborough's reading rope and break down the micro skills essential for skilled reading to happen. We'll explore the National Reading Panel's proclamation on the 5 components of reading that every student needs. And we'll answer the big question, what is structured literacy, really? By the end of this phase, you'll not only know what to teach, but also how to teach it in a way that transforms your students' ability to read. The benefits of learning these ideas are game-changing. As teachers, many of us never truly learned how to teach reading in college, not in a way that gets to the heart of what every child needs. But here you'll gain the knowledge and the tools that make teaching literacy feel clear and purposeful. You'll walk away with confidence to teach reading in a way that benefits all students, whether they're thriving, struggling, or somewhere in between. This is about empowering you to make a real difference, one student at a time. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why are most teachers not teaching reading this way? The truth is, it's not our fault. The findings shared in podcasts like Sold a Story and Why American Kids Aren't Taught to Read reveal a system that's failed to prepare our teachers. Many of us were taught methods that didn't align with how the brain actually learns to read. We'll explore these findings briefly to understand the gaps in our training and why this work is so essential to bridge those gaps for the sake of our students. Meet Marie Ann Covey, a principal and administrator in Sweetwater School District No. 2 in Green River, Wyoming. 3 years ago, Marie took a bold step and sent a handful of teachers to a summer Reading Rev conference. Inspired by the results, she invited us back to train her district's reading interventionist. But she didn't stop there. This August, Marie took it to the next level, hosting a Reading Rev training for all elementary teachers in her district. This is the impact of one motivated leader, a ripple effect that's transforming classrooms, empowering teachers, and changing the way kids learn to read. Leadership like hers proves that one decision really can make all the difference. If one knowledgeable, compassionate teacher can change everything, imagine what an entire district of them can do. The third phase is where it all comes together. It's the meat of this entire class, implementation. Learning the science and understanding the philosophy behind structured literacy is powerful, but it means nothing if we can't apply it to real classrooms with real students. This phase is about bridging the gap between theory and practice. How do we take everything we learned and make it work in the day-to-day realities of teaching? That's where the true transformation happens, when knowledge turns into action and action turns into the results for our students. This course is designed to set you up for success by taking the guesswork out of implementation. You'll receive a systematic approach to bringing these concepts into your classroom. No more feeling overwhelmed or unsure of where to start. We've broken it all down into manageable steps that build on each other. We know that teachers care, they're passionate, and they're some of the hardest working people out there. So why aren't more teachers doing this? For many intermediate and secondary teachers, it's simple. They just can't see themselves in it. Structured literacy often feels like it's only for early elementary grades, leaving others to feel like it doesn't apply to them. And let's be honest, who has the time to search through endless webinars, podcasts, and 8-minute videos trying to piece it all together? This is why this course is different. You'll get everything you need: the what, the why, the how to assess, and clear remediation plan, all in one place. With this roadmap, you'll finally have the tools and confidence to implement structured literacy in a way that works for you, your students, and your classroom. Meet Laura McGuire. She attended a Reading Rev conference and at the end came up and handed me a handwritten note. This is what it said. I have taught for 13 years in 2 other states, and this is by far the most complete, well thought out, applicable, kid-centered, and best reading training I've had. Thank you. The next phase is all about inspiring our students. Students in 3rd through 12th grade who have struggled with literacy often feel defeated. They start to believe they just can't do it, and as a result, they stop trying. This module will dive into the research-based methods that help reignite that spark of motivation. We'll explore practical strategies to help all students, no matter where they're at, feel empowered and capable. Because when we build their motivation, we build the belief in themselves, and that's when real progress happens. Now let's talk about motivating you, the teacher. We all know the feeling, the exhaustion from constant shifts in educational trends and methods. It's easy to feel like we're caught in an endless swing of change, and it can be hard to stay motivated. But here's the thing, when you start seeing real growth in your students, when you witness that aha moment, that tangible success, you can't help but feel motivated again. In this phase, we'll focus on ways to reignite your passion as an educator by focusing on the real impact you're making in the classroom. When you see the results of your hard work, motivation builds naturally, and you'll feel more empowered to keep pushing forward. This is a group of 3rd grade teachers who are having a middle of the year party celebrating their incredible growth.
Through the...
We could show you hundreds of anonymous Reading Rev feedback forms. Incredible, life-changing course for any teacher of any reading level. Amazing course. More teachers need this information. Bree is absolutely wonderful, and her love for teaching and reading is absolutely infectious. Amazing. I learned more than I could have imagined. Every teacher of all grade levels should have this knowledge. You too could be one of the inspired teachers who are ready to change the trajectory of their students' experience. And the final phase is growth. This is where everything comes together. We'll show you a proven way to finally see significant, consistent literacy growth in your students. Wouldn't it feel amazing to look at your students' data and see that you're making progress? See the reds diminishing and see the greens and the blues expanding. This is possible. We all know that growth doesn't happen overnight. There is no quick fix or magic snake oil. It takes time, dedication, and a willingness to learn what it takes to truly teach literacy in research-based ways. The journey may feel long at times, and the process requires consistent effort, but the payoff is worth every bit. When you commit to this approach, you're not just helping your students learn to read, you're setting them up for success in all areas of life. The growth you'll see will be meaningful, lasting, and incredibly rewarding. So while it takes time, remember the outcome is worth the wait. If you take just one thing away from today, I want you to know that you can change the lives of your intermediate and secondary students. You can do it without spending thousands of overwhelming hours hunting for answers. The 5 phases are broken down into 9 modules, allowing you to work through them at your own pace and for the first time ever in the comfort of your own home. If you ever feel stuck or have questions along the way, don't worry. You'll have access to our online coaching for support. We'll be here to help every step of the way. So the big question was, how can you align your intermediate and secondary literacy instruction to science that will benefit all students? And how can you do this without ending up with a $15,000 master's degree student loan or thousands of exhausting hours watching random webinars and piecing it all together yourself? The 5 phases are designed to guide you through the process of learning about and mastering structured literacy instruction. Phase 1 is all about understanding the research and the science behind reading acquisition and progression. Phase 2, you'll explore what to teach and why it's important for every student's success. Phase 3 is implementation. What exactly makes effective reading instruction? And how do you assess progress to ensure success? Phase 4 is about learning strategies to engage and motivate students who have faced defeat and build their confidence. And finally, Phase 5, you'll apply what you've learned through case studies and real-world examples, leading to significant, lasting growth in your student. Each phase builds on the next, leading you to a comprehensive understanding and implementation of structured literacy. Let's talk about what you will walk away with each module. In Module 1 and 2, you'll understand all the reading profiles, from the typical reader to the dyslexic reader to the student that can decode accurately but can't comprehend what they're reading, to the student that has a double deficits. You'll learn the must-have science of reading knowledge. Then, in Module 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, you will learn about the 5 components of reading. For each one, you'll learn what it is, why it's vital to student success, how to teach it, how to assess it, and how to remediate it. Module 8 is literally the reason that I went back to get my master's in literacy. This is the information that I didn't have that I was so desperately in need of, and unfortunately didn't really get in that program. This module will talk you through what assessments to give, how to analyze them, how to make a remediation plan, and give you a step-by-step guide. We'll even practice with real student data so that you can see this process in action. And as a mom of a defeated dyslexic daughter, this module is the most dear to my heart. We'll talk about motivation, we'll talk about helping defeated students find purpose and hope, and how we can get them to be re-engaged in their learning. Everything you've seen so far is what our Reading Rev conferences are all about. But here's an exciting bonus for you. For our on-demand class, we are also offering our Curriculum Vault. For each module, you'll get access to dozens of resources designed to make implementation smooth and easy. We're talking lesson plans, assessments, Google slide decks, bulletin boards, and so much more. These resources are ready to use in your classroom right away. And here's the best part. If you were to buy each of these resources separately, it would cost you over $300. But as part of this course, it is all included. This is a game changer for saving you time and effort while setting you up for success. And the second bonus is even better, live coaching. For 8 weeks, you'll have access to our live coaching calls, where you can log in and get personalized help in our community's meetings. This is your chance to ask questions, clarify concepts, and get the support you need to succeed in real time. At our consulting rate, this coaching alone would be valued at over $1,200. But as part of this course, it's included. It's an incredible opportunity to get direct guidance and ensure that you're on the right track every step of the way. Let's take a look at everything you'll receive in this course, including all the amazing bonuses, with a total value of over $2,000. Here's what's included. The full course, broken down into 5 phases and 9 modules that guide you step by step through what the science of reading and structured literacy look like at the intermediate level. All on demand so that you can take it with your own time and in the comfort of your own home. The Curriculum Vault, which is dozens of resources that will help you actually implement everything that you learn, worth over $300. And live coaching for 8 weeks with weekly live calls to get personalized support. All of this is included, and you get it at a fraction of the cost. This is your opportunity to transform your literacy instruction and make a lasting impact on your students, with all the support and resources you need to succeed. You might be wondering why we're offering this course for only $300. The answer is simple. We want every single teacher to have access to this life-changing knowledge, to the knowledge that we didn't receive in college and our students so desperately need us to have. Here are some anonymous reviews from intermediate and secondary teachers who took the Reading Rev course. They're from Garden City, Kansas. It was so much easier to understand phonics, etc., than other trainings we've previously attended. Thank you. You gave me a lot of knowledge I can implement and utilize in my 5th grade ELA classroom. It gave me a renewed understanding of what students who struggle to read go through and how they feel every day. Another Reading Rev teacher said, "This is the best, most practical reading class I've ever taken." Incredible, life-changing course for any teacher of reading, any level. This course is offered in 3 flexible formats to fit your needs. First, we would love to have you attend an in-person summer Reading Rev conference. The energy, the camaraderie, it just can't be beat. Second, we would love to come to your school. Imagine your entire staff being trained. The impact is endless. And finally, for the first time, you can get Reading Rev on demand, so you can learn at your own pace, anytime, anywhere. Simply scan the QR code to see where in the world Reading Rev will be and find the option that works best for you. And that's not all. We have one final fast acting bonus. If you sign up for the course in the next 15 minutes, we will also include Reading Rev's Intermediate Phonics, Spelling, and Morphology program. This is a program that will take you through 36 phonetic patterns, morphology, etymology, and your students will be able to decode and encode multisyllabic words like never before. Let's go ahead and start our fast acting timer. So if you enroll in the next 15 minutes,
you will receive the Reading Rev Intermediate Phonics Spelling and Morphology program. This program is a 36-week full year program that covers 36 phonetic patterns included with morphology and etymology. It has every single thing that you need in order to teach spelling and decoding of multisyllabic words. Here are some of the most frequently asked questions. We're going to go through these as the timer is running down. Remember that if you have any other questions, you are more than welcome to enter them into the chat, and we will get those emailed back to you as soon as possible. So how long does this course take? This is a self-paced course, so you can really complete it on your own timeline. However, it is modeled after the in-person course that is 2 8-hour days. So plan on it taking about 16 hours total to complete. The next question, what if I get stuck or have questions? This is why we added that live coaching. So while we're in person and we can talk and problem solve and brainstorm and share stories live, that's really an impossible thing to do when it is an on-demand course. So instead, we've added that live coaching component. You'll find out so much more about that inside, but we will have your back every step of the way. Next question, can I get a certificate after completing the course? Yes, upon completing the course, you will receive a certificate of completion that you can use for professional development credits and depending on your school's district's requirements. You must complete each module's reflection journal or assignment to get that certificate, and depending on your state, you may also be eligible for our college credit that has details inside the course. What are the benefits of the live coaching session? The live coaching calls give you direct access to experienced literacy teachers and coaches. We'll answer your questions, provide personalized feedback, help you implement concepts that you might get stuck on. We do a lot of data talk, so sharing data and problem solving and coming up with intervention or small group plans based on data. Next question, do I need any prior knowledge of structured literacy to take this course? The answer is a hard no. This course is designed to guide you step by step from the basics to the more advanced concepts. So it's perfect whether you're just starting out or whether you're looking to deepen your understanding of structured literacy, or if you're looking for all of the resources and tools that we provide. Next question, do I have to complete the course within the 8 weeks? No, you do not. You will have access to the live coaching for 8 weeks, but you will have access to the course content forever. So you can download the videos and the resources, and you go back and watch and rewatch the modules as many times as you'd like. This is one of the perks of the on-demand class instead of the in-person class, because we just can't mimic that repeat or being able to go back into the content. If you have any questions, you can email support@readingrev.com and we will get you specifics. We would love to reach out to your admin and look into what it would look like for you to get school-wide training for your staff. That is just absolutely a magical thing when an entire school is on board. Next question, is there a course for K through 2nd grade teachers? Yes, we have a course that is called The 5 Components of Reading with Orton Gillingham. It is great for all K through 5th grade teachers, and it utilizes and teaches the Orton Gillingham methodology. Many of the concepts between this course and that course are the same because reading acquisition and progression isn't age-based, right? However, that course really focuses on emergent reading skills, and this one focuses on how to help older students who might have gaps. Again, feel free to reach out to us with any other questions. We are here to help, and our mission is to really give access and knowledge to every teacher, regardless of where you are in the world or what grade level you teach. Next question. Is this course only for interventionists or people helping struggling readers? The answer is no. In fact, we are desperately trying to get all Tier 1 teachers to know this content. It would be even more powerful if every teacher, regardless of content area, knew about reading acquisition and how reading works in the brain and knew how to help struggling readers. So even history teachers or science teachers that often don't see themselves in the language arts realm would benefit tremendously for just knowing and being able to teach all content areas and teach the reading of those content areas within this. So this is hugely helpful because we all know that in every single classroom we are going to have students that are struggling, but this course will also take you through all the continuums of every component of reading. So we'll also show you how to get to some of those higher level comprehension strategies. What is the continuum of comprehension? How do we take students to those higher level comprehension skills, or how do we get them to do higher level vocabulary acquisition? So this course is not just a remediation course. This is a course of what does the what to teach and how to teach it look in all grades, and how do we incorporate some of these word level skills and strategies with also understanding all of the components of reading. Okay, if you are watching the clock, we have just under 8 minutes for you to enroll before we end, and you miss out on the Reading Rev Phonics Spelling and Morphology program. So let's talk a little bit more about that program. That program is designed as a Tier 1 third grade program. So it is what most third graders should be learning. It focuses highly on multisyllabic words. Students build an everything reading notebook that they can capture their knowledge of all 5 components and morphology. And that becomes a year-long reference guide for them. There are also student practice packets. So for every weekly pattern, there are tons of practice opportunities and games and ways for students to really solidify their learning. We also have fiction and nonfiction passages for each one of those patterns. And each one of those passages comes in 2 levels. So we have 2 different lexile levels so that differentiation can be really easy. And then we finally have a teacher's guide. It's called the Teacher Talk Manual, and it gives you a day-by-day, play-by-play. So if you do not know the phonics patterns, if you never learned the spelling rules or how to crack the code of English, that teacher's manual is invaluable and will give you all kinds of resources and word lists and sentences for dictation and fluency and multisensory practice ideas. It really brings it all to life, and that is just a must-have guide. It's available on Amazon and also on our website as well. That being said, it's a third grade Tier 1, but we all know that we have a ton of students in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, maybe even 7th through 12th grade, that have gaps. Maybe they can read proficiently, but their spelling is atrocious. Maybe they have no disability at all. They simply weren't taught these patterns. I know that I never learned phonics growing up. I was not taught that. I was taught whole language and just memorized words of list or list of words. And so I always thought I was just a poor speller. What I didn't understand until I learned the code of English is that I wasn't born a poor speller. I was just simply never taught. So this program is invaluable for 4th through 12th grade teachers who want a systematic way to help their students tackle longer words that they just guess at because they've never been taught strategies to break longer words apart, or how to spell words using syllables and sounds. This program, if you go to readingrev.com, you can read all about the program. You can see lessons that are modeled. The program has day-by-day Google slide decks that are all made and build oral language as well. It is just a life-changing program, and most importantly, it does not seem babyish or kiddish. We didn't have any of the primary clip art. We have everything looking age appropriate and sophisticated so that it is not embarrassing for those older kids that need word level or sound level work. All right, we are down to the final 4 minutes. What questions do you have? Type them in the chat or email support@readingrev.com and we will get back to you. Know that this is all real person, real teacher led. This is not a program that was created by a big box company that is out to do mass marketing and get teachers to just buy it and then abandon them. This is a program that was created by intermediate teachers that felt stuck. We felt like we did not have what we needed to teach our students, and we are tired of scouring Teachers Pay Teachers. We are tired of scouring the internet and listening to podcasts and reading blog after blog, trying to piece it all together. So if I could tell you the amount of hours that have gone into that program and this course, it's thousands. We've been doing this for since 2018, so it is not a new program or new course, and we have been we spent years before that assembling and putting it all together, and it has proven results in schools all over the United States and all over the country. We have teachers in Canada that are currently using the program and going through the course. We just finished a year-long study with a group of teachers from the Czech Republic that we went week by week with them and taught them English in a way that they had never even imagined, and was hugely successful. And we have teachers in almost every continent and tons of countries, and we want you to be part of our mission to revolutionize reading. We want the opportunity to share with you and give you the roadmap that we spent 5 years building, and make it as easy to implement and as easy to understand and all in one place, and also give you some live support in your journey to change kids' lives. I recently had a conversation with my daughter, who is now 23 years old, and she said, Mom, how do you think my life would have been different if you knew now if you knew then what you know now? And the truth is, it's such a mind-boggling question, because I would have advocated for her so differently. I would have helped her see herself so differently. I would have foreseen our hurdles and known what she was feeling and thinking way more than I did. I saw a kid that wasn't acting herself, that was struggling in school and hating everything about education, but I didn't know why. I didn't know how to help her, and we had this conversation that I think her journey would have been completely different. And I think we all have, as teachers, have the opportunity to see those students right now that are in our lives that are feeling that way, and to also have the power to know exactly what to do and how to help them. All right, we are down to the final few seconds. I hope that you enroll. I will see you inside the course. I cannot wait to get started with you. This is going to be absolutely the journey of a lifetime. So I will see you inside.